What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Thursday, March 16th, 2023. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all so much. Thanks for being here. Let's take a look at the astrology today. What a stellium we do have at 25 degrees of Pisces. We will see Mercury and the Sun meet at 26 for that superior conjunction between Mercury and the Sun, meaning Mercury is on the other side of the Sun, not in between the Sun and Earth. But wow, 25 degrees Pisces. It's the mix of 7, very spiritual number. This is very spiritual energy, but it reminds me of just how wide open that really is. What does that really mean? It's very interesting. We got to figure that out on our own in our own journey, I suppose. But this is, a big message from Spirit trying to come through in a very intuitive way. This is very sort of chaotic energy in its own way. This is very beautiful energy. This is unconditional. This is compassionate. This is a circus. I mean, honestly, it's literally like every single thing culminating into one between our soul's expression in the Sun, our mind, Mercury. What a bag. Like, this reminds me of like some kind of secret Santa gift from the universe, and like you never know what you're going to get, or it's like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, this is a wide open space here. But definitely an important day that's having us channel something bigger, get out of the, stop playing small ball in our life, really, especially with this Capricorn energy, with Pluto on its final days here in Capricorn, a moon in Capricorn. That moon is even making a sextile over to a trine over to Uranus and Taurus. Like, this is it's not time to play small ball. This is time to break out. This is time to shake things up, but there's like a precise sort of way to it also that we want to come to understanding. Like, if we can narrow things down and consolidate to the most abundant, beautiful dream and vision, this is where the universe is trying to be on our team. But we still have to stay dedicated. We still have to, make this reality. It's almost like we have to define our own rules in this reality. And like, what are the rules that we're going to live here? Very interesting too. Venus is going to spend its final day in Aries, and it's square Pluto exact today. So, I mean, talk about, intense energy of trying to maybe force the most dedicated identification of the value of yourself and have you really do something. Like, this is like, it's time to go take the message from the ether that cannot be explained, cannot be just pinpointed, but to somehow pinpoint that in our lives and to get almost like, intense about how we can define the value and dedicate to that in our lives that bring us more of the vision of life that we want, the dream, to go outside the box. But it's almost like we have to, it's like there is a little bit of rule here, but it's like we have to define the rules. That's how it feels. It feels like there's an intense need to define new rules so that we can be more in our absolute spiritual truth, in our just most divine, purposeful truth that we could possibly come to. Here we are. Kind of crazy. Mars is out of shadow. It's square the Sun today. Mercury's going to square Mars. Today can be loud. Like, it can energetically, and even, you can maybe notice conversations with people. It can get loud. It can get like just a lot. I feel like we can be overwhelmed because maybe so much is taking place. Maybe it's a bunch of little things that are taking place that feel like a big thing. Maybe it's the culmination of all things. But there is a major push point of having us like step up and take responsibility for our lives, right? That's what it really feels like. It's like, how are you ever going to step into your oneness with all of creation if you can't take accountability and responsibility for your own life to do so? So, what an intense energy, but like, what a divine nature that is coming from it. Now, whether nothing happens in your personal life today or whether something huge happens in your personal life today, it's trying to set you up for empowerment and really sitting atop the throne, really sitting at the highest, most exalted sense of value that is connected with not just ego, but with your spiritual identity, your spiritual definition of self, that is much more than maybe just a physical ego or a physical identity. But I do think that this is kind of pushing our ego to a limit here, which, thank God we have an ego. If we didn't have an ego, I wouldn't even be able to identify that I like to put these videos out for you, or that I like astrology, So it's not like an ego death is necessary, but there could be a little bit of that sort of ego identification to some structure or something that's been keeping us boxed in that does have to die. So very interesting. We are in such it's like, this is pure magic, but it's like not magic like you would think. It's like there's something way bigger pulling the strings. And we just have to take control and responsibility and authority for ourselves and kind of like not play small ball anymore in our own lives, and like really understand that the universe is trying to show you some way to do that. Big, small, whatever it is, And it's almost like we have to, in some way, find that there's like a breaking point. Like we almost are being forced into a sense of anarchy because there's so much that feels like it's dissolving and makes zero sense anymore, because it's literally could have been a truth and now it's not a truth. And we just have to accept what truth is to us spiritually, and take accountability to change it up in our environments, our work life, our relationships, every area here. So it is absolutely a day in the astrology, but Venus is about to come into Taurus, where it is dignified, and that's going to happen today as well in the afternoon. And it's going to start to meet with the North Node, which it disposits the North Node. We are seeing the dispositor of the North Node, Venus, square the dispositor of the South Node, Pluto. So, wow. Talk about a super fate train day, to quote the Leo King. Fate train. God has a plan for every single one of us. And in some way, shape, or form, it's almost like something is going to be so clearly defined that we can think we're crazy because our ego wants to hold on to something that it's spent maybe lifetimes, maybe not even just this life, maybe lifetimes, identifying that this is the way things are. And all of a sudden, we're in this place where from here on out, we're just going to see nothing but the identification of that structure change. And how accepting and how much faith we can have is extremely important, because it's going to hone us in on our value. It's going to hone us in on not settling for less than energetically what we know we're worth. And this goes into every aspect of our lives. So, quite the day. We're also going to see Venus start to sextile over to Saturn. So we're starting to see that come right after the square to Pluto, which, Venus, Saturn, this is, again, it's like dedicating to value, dedicating to your spiritual integrity, your soul's value, and, literally bringing it to life and growing it and making it stronger and stronger and more amplified with Jupiter and Aries and Chiron there, because we've done so much healing that there's no reason to identify with anything that isn't of that frequency in your life. So it is quite the day. There's definitely something's happening today in the world, in our personal lives. It's like, it's too perfect of a setup with too much intensity that can feel great. And, for some that don't want to let go, it can feel terrible and we can feel just lost in the abyss in many ways. But that's okay too, because through being lost, you are found. Lost and found. We have to go there. And then for others, this is just like an intuitive, almighty truth that is so felt that it can't be ignored. And it's like your unconscious is just getting illuminated, meaning that it's no longer unconscious. So where we keep doing stupid things that we don't even value, or putting so much effort into areas of life that don't even match with our soul's identity, but we just do it because we don't know any better. It's just an unconscious program. It's like there's just, nope, illuminated, lit up. So I do think this is a major wake-up day for many, and maybe all of us, right? And that's pretty epic, because every time we wake up, we're just more conscious, more aware, more in tune with the universe. And that's like the goal anyways. So wherever that takes us, that, that's where I want to be. 7 of Wands upright. It's Chiron. It's Chiron, yeah. We want to take the spiritual high ground today, and realize that it's not just some ego that's been programmed. It's like we're breaking out of programs because they're so clear today. And we can want to say, nah, but it's true. And you got to stand up there, and you got to defend off, and, keep your spiritual body armor on and stay present. King of Pentacles upright. Yeah, for that throne of value, because you know your worth. This is so, spirituality is so connected to the physical realm, and we can try and separate the two, but when you, within your soul and your spirit and your heart, know your value and your worth, and you know that you have tools and you have unbound potential, it's easy to defend what's not there. It's easy to put up the right boundary because you know your value. So it's not so difficult. And I think we find that today by maybe going through, because I'll be honest, like this picture of the 7 of Wands, right? Like he's not looking particularly happy, Chiron, here. He's looking a little wounded, a little tired. And maybe we all can feel that way in some shape or form. And that's part of, Chiron gave up his immortality. So in some way, it's almost like we're giving up some sense of our ego's feeling that it's immortal in some area of life, just to rebuild ourselves into more of King of Pentacles energy. And the Queen of Cups in reverse. I mean, it can feel like there's no love, no nurturing, no security. Like this one can go deep today. Spiritually deep. And even physically deep. But again, it's putting us on the throne. It's showing us where true value really lies in our life, and how to take that energy and really do something about it. Because I feel like there's too much happening it's not just going to be sit around and be lazy and get walked on. The message from the universe is too clear not to go that route. And I believe that we won't today, whatever that may bring, but quite the day. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful Thursday, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.